right, Jessica, you spend a lot of time talking to people about wills and trusts and estate planning and probate, and there's a lot of topics there, but let's start with what are the basic estate planning documents that you think everybody should consider having?
So at our office, we recommend that everybody has the 4 standard documents. Those documents include the will, the healthcare power of attorney, the financial power of attorney, and the living will.
So I've heard about those before, but if I really don't know the details, break it down for me. Let's start with talking about a will. Like what is a will? What are the basic components of a will?
So a will tells everybody where you want your assets to go. And that's a really important document because you don't want other people or the state of Ohio saying where these assets go. So a will tells everybody where your assets go, and it also allows you to pick an executor. So that means if something ends up in probate court, the will says where the assets go, and the executor is the person who handles it for you. If there's minor children involved, a will is a great place to put who you want the guardian of those children to be.
So if I put in my will that I want somebody to be an executor, does that make them legally responsible for something? Does that expose them to any kind of legal liability?
So appointing them as an executor does not just give them liability. They do have fiduciary duties. They have a duty to make sure all your assets go where they're supposed to go and to report to the courts, but it does not make them legally liable for your assets.
So do I really need a will? You know, I've heard if I'm married, then everything goes to my spouse anyway, right? So why do I really need a will?
So in Ohio, that's a huge misconception. Ohio does not give everything to the surviving spouse. So if you don't have a will in place, and let's say there's a blended family involved, the assets get divided up per the laws of intestacy under the state of Ohio. So it's really important to have a will to make sure it goes where you want it to go.
So not everything would go to my spouse. Some portion of it might, but then other portions may go to children.
Yep.
Or if I have children from another marriage.
Yep.
Okay. And if I have a will, then do I get to customize that and decide whatever I think's best?
So there is some standard language in there that we make sure if it ends up in probate court that this language is in there. But you do get to customize who you want in it, who gets your assets, where the assets go.
So I understand you also talk to people about powers of attorney. What are the different types of powers of attorney?
So there's 2 types of powers of attorney in Ohio. There's a financial power of attorney and a healthcare power of attorney.
So what is a financial power of attorney?
So a financial power of attorney allows you to make financial decisions on someone else's behalf. Again, Ohio does not say that the surviving spouse automatically gets to make these decisions. So let's say something happens and you end up in a car accident and you can't make financial decisions or sign your tax returns or something like that. Your financial power of attorney can step in to help take care of that for you.
And so if I'm married, my spouse doesn't automatically have those powers?
Unfortunately, they do not.
Are there other common examples of when a power of attorney is helpful to have?
Sure. So as society ages, if you should end up in a nursing home or something like that, or assisted living facility, a lot of times they require you have a financial power of attorney in place.
You mentioned a healthcare power of attorney.
Mm-hmm.
How's that different, and what does that document do?
So a healthcare power of attorney only works in the healthcare settings. So if you should end up in the hospital, again, same scenario, car accident, you can't make healthcare decisions, your healthcare power of attorney can step into place, make sure you're getting the services you need.
And are there other common examples of when a healthcare power of attorney is used?
So a healthcare power of attorney is used in the hospital settings. It is used in the doctor's offices. So let's say you're just not able to find new doctors and you need to start calling around and getting, second opinions. This healthcare power of attorney will kick in and allow your advocate to do that for you.
Jessica, if I am preparing a healthcare power of attorney, who do you recommend be my power of attorney in that document?
So it all depends. It's the best person for the job. What I mean by that is your surviving spouse may be the best person, but it also may be the child who is a nurse or the child who is a doctor. It's really going to depend on who that person is and what they can do for you.
So does the power of attorney have to be a family member, or can it just be anybody that I trust?
It can be anybody you trust. A lot of times people, as they grow older, they don't have family left and they still have to find somebody else who can help them make these decisions.